Good morning. My name is Kamal Muhammad Priani with college student number 1308620034. I do like to talk about endangered species recovery and conservation program. The purpose of my presentation will discuss how the number and definition of endangered species, how big the danger threatens them, then how important it is to protect endangered species from extinction and the programs for the recovery and conservation of endangered species. But before start, I do like to thanks for the opportunity given to me. So without further ado, let's start. First, I do like to tell how the number of endangered species worldwide, which is quite worrying because the number that recorded is already large, which is about 16,000 more or less than imagine how many unrecorded endangered species worldwide. And here are quite a few examples of recorded endangered animals and plants. And next, I will like to talk about the definition of endangered species. A species is said to be endangered if the number of its members are about 2,500 adult individual or its population is reduced into 20%. And according to IUCN, there are 9 categories of threat and level, with the lowest being the least concern and the highest will be extinct. Then I will be tell about the status of wildlife in Indonesia. As you can see, is pretty much in bad shape. There are 68 species that are critically endangered and 69 species that are endangered, and as well as 517 species that are vulnerable. As you can see on the map, there are a lot endangered species in Java and Sumatra because the human activities on Java is much more intense than Sumatra. Visitors can tell that human activities are one of many dangers that threatens animal and plant species. The reason why we that the recorded one of endangered species is to keep them from extinct. Extinction happen when particular animal or plant species no longer alive anywhere in the world. But extinction itself is one of nature's ways of choosing which animal will die and live. This process is called natural selection and usually through climate and ecological change. But human activities like lodging, hunting, and overfishing increase this extinction rate to 100 to 1,000 than natural, which is quite horrifying. And this graph alone tells us how dangerous hunting, lodging, or fishing is compared to natural causes, which is, as you can see, lodging itself become the most deadly human activities, which is cost about 4,049 species losses, with being the hunting being the second and the third with being overfishing. And then you can see as well, natural itself cause us less species losses than our own human activities. One of the reasons why we should have conserve and restore this animal and plant is to keep our biodiversity intact. Because biodiversity is very important for our life because many things will have an impact if biodiversity is damaged. One of them is food production. Our food production is very dependent on bees because, well, without bees that pollinate the flowers, the plant could never fertilize, and thus the number of the plant will die, the crops will die, leaving us something without to eat. And a little fun fact itself, bee pollination is worth between 235 and 575 billion in US dollar, which is quite tell us how important biodiversity it is. And so, to preserve all of these endangered species can be done by carrying out various and conservation and restore program. The first program will be a captive breeding program, which is animal will be taken to captive from their natural habitat to increase their number. But there are some quite drawbacks for this program. First, the animal will be have a hard time of adapting a normal life in nature. And also there are risks of interbreeding, which is pretty bad because the gene pool will be much more smaller. And the second will be educating the people about conservation and how to protect endangered species and help the general public to form an emotional connection to these endangered species. And the third will be protect animals in protected areas such as national park that can be done with ex situ or in situ. The conclusion is we must conserve and restore endangered species to maintain the integrity of biodiversity because if biodiversity is damaged, it will have a major impact on our life and ways to prevent it by reducing or being more effective in our activities and intensifying a restoration and preservation program. And so they will end the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention and sorry if there's some quite mistake in along the way of presentation.